You know, Jay, that's one of the things I teach is you got to do, if you don't do your first deal right, you'll never do a second one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So luckily the second one went really well. Third one went well. Fifth one went well. 2 years later, we sold the first one. And by that point we had done about 100 and we just kept going.
So were you flipping them or you holding them?
We were flipping.
You were flipping. You were not becoming a landlord at all.
No, I was young and dumb. In retrospect, I wish we would have kept every property we ever sold.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine, Jay?
Biggest piece of advice for anybody that's starting out. Don't just buy them and sell them. Make sure you're using some of that cash to buy and hold.
Yeah. Wow. 100 homes in Atlanta area purchased back in 2008, 2010. Man, you would be, the king of the world right now.
We did the math. My wife and I did the math a couple months ago.
Oh boy, why would you kill yourself that way? Why would you punish yourself by doing the math? Because you're an engineer. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, Jay.
But no, I like doing the math because I can tell people don't make the mistake I did. Literally, we're talking about $40 million in equity that we would have accrued over the past 13 years had we held every property we flipped. Now, we didn't have the financial stability to hold 400 single family houses at the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a moot point, but even if we would have held half of them, a quarter of them.
Yeah.
So, but I tell everybody, use that transactional income that you're generating, whether you're flipping houses, whether you're doing syndications, whatever you're doing, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or a consultant, take some of that money that you're trading your time for and put it into something that's going to grow and just never sell.
Yeah, good for that's great advice. I mean, okay, so we're gonna get to the multifamily world in just a moment, but let's talk about. I see something else here on your resume that is pretty darn cool. You were the host of the Bigger Pockets Business Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So are you still doing that?
No, we stopped a couple months ago. I'm actually probably going to be picking up a new podcast here in the next couple months. Basically, what we were doing in the business podcast was a whole lot of fun. My wife and I were co-hosting. Gave us a tremendous opportunity to talk to some amazing people across the business world, experts and entrepreneurs and founders. Unfortunately, though, it just didn't align well with my multifamily pursuits. And I really wanted to be all in on multifamily. So we gave up the show a couple months ago, but I attribute a lot of our success in real estate, not to the fact that I know anything about real estate. I'm the first to admit that most people out there that I meet probably know more about real estate than I do. My superpower is business. I know how to run a business. I know how to scale a business. I know how to hire people. And so for me, the reason why I've been successful in real estate is because I treat real estate like a business. And yeah.
We got to talk because you were preaching to the choir here. This is what I teach my students. I said, this is not about real estate. This is about building a multifamily real estate investing business. Yep. It's a business. And the most important aspect of business is sales and marketing.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I just created a program that I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, I open with my commercial where I am your marketing system. If you're a new investor, I build the marketing system. My VAs, I've trained them. They work for me. And now I'm going to have them work for you to help you market and sell to your investors, the owners of properties, and the brokers. We focus on those three customers. And let me tell you something, Jay, that's one of the biggest problems people coming into the multifamily business. They don't know who their customers are.
Right. Or they don't think they have customers.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you do. You're a business. All business has customers. You got to go out there and talk to those customers every single day. Yep. And I asked the question, what's the first sale you make in this business? And the answer is, think about it. The answer is an accepted offer.
Yeah.
That's your first customer, the owner of that property. When he says yes, you're in business. It's the same thing. I came from the insurance business many, many years ago. I was selling group insurance, to owners of businesses. I was sitting in the waiting room with 5 other guys with their offers. And one of us was going to get the business when that owner said, I take this offer. It's the same thing in real estate. It's the same thing. And like, anything else, Jay, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's just a numbers game.
100%. But you can skew those numbers in your favor. And you do that by being a good marketer and being a good negotiator and knowing how to build relationships and knowing how to build trust.
Exactly.
And these are all the things that too many people in real estate, they think it's all about the underwriting. They think it's all about the numbers. And don't get me wrong, I'm an engineer. It is all about the underwriting and the numbers. But without that whole other piece of the business, without the ability to market and do sales and build relationships and build trust, the numbers aren't going to get you anywhere.
Right. I mean, I sat down, my partners, we have a big deal under contract right now, and they just had lunch with the owner of the 3 properties we're buying, just to meet, and it's all part of the process. You get to know the guy. We may be coming up against some bumps along the way in the acquisition process. We want to be able to speak to the owner. Afterwards, guess what this guy has more of? He's got more things that we can buy. So we want to, stay in touch with him. This is how you build your business. That's so excellent. I'm so glad you said that, because that is, when I looked down and I saw Bigger Pockets Business Podcast, I'm like, oh, we're talking about that. We are so talking about that.
Yeah. Too many people, they look at real estate as a hobby. And they don't think of it, running a real estate business, it's no different than running a used car business, as running a restaurant, a shoe store. You pick any business in the world, running a real estate company, doing real estate is exactly the same thing. You need acquisitions, you need inventory, you need a pipeline, you need customers, you need marketing, you need sales, you need operational support, you need all of the things that you need in a business.
And the problem is you're coming from the flipping model. And a lot of people get into it. Like when you and your wife first started those first 2 homes, you probably didn't think about it in a business context.
Nope.
No, like creating a series of systems that run themselves. You would think like, hey, we just got to go to Home Depot and we're going to pick up more of this.
Exactly.
But when you get to 400 homes, the only way you get to 400 homes is if you have systems. And a business is nothing more than a series of systems created to generate a profit. And so, you're taking that now. People get out of flipping homes because you get, like you did, you got burnt out. It's, I'll tell you, one reason why I never got into flipping homes, because I remember my father, who sold insurance right with me, I said, hey, Dad, I made a big sale today. Good. What are you going to do tomorrow?
Yep.
You're only as good as your last sale, kid. And that's the way it is in flipping homes. I never wanted to do that again.
Yeah. And you're trading your time for money. And when you stop contributing your time, you stop making the money.
Exactly. When the dancing bear stops dancing, no one's making any money.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so when you came out, tell me about the transition from a business standpoint. Tell me about what you took from what you learned from the flipping side, and you brought it over this side. How did that transition go? Because I'll tell you right now, Jay, so many of my clients, so many people come from that world because they want the cash flow business.
Yeah. So you're talking about going from single family to multifamily?
Yeah. Talk about and I want you to focus strictly on the business aspect of the transition.
Yeah. This is the reason I love multifamily. In the single family world, it's too easy to do everything yourself, or to approximately do everything yourself. It's real easy for you as the house flipper to control the pipeline of acquisitions, to control, even if you're not managing the contractors or doing the rehab yourself, you're probably managing the project manager. And too easy for you to deal with the marketing and the sales and the listing of the house and the staging and bringing in money. And basically you have your hands in everything. The thing I love about multifamily is it really is a team sport. And even if you were smart enough, and none of us is smart enough, but even if you were smart enough to do every role in a multifamily, a large multifamily deal or a syndication deal, even if you were smart enough, you don't have the time.
Yeah.
Because a deal, investor relations is a full-time job.
Yep.
Acquisitions is a full-time job for multiple people. Asset management is a full-time job. All of these things are full-time jobs. And so it forces you to go into the business thinking of it like a business. It forces you to bring in other people. And whether those other people are partners, whether they're employees, whether they're contractors, whether they're virtual assistants, whether they're shared part-time people, whether they're commission-based, whatever they are, you rely on other people. So you need to figure out how to manage them, how to get them paid, how to get them working their best, and then how to get them working together to basically put together a deal that can be worth tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. And you can only do that when you're managing your business like a business.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I teach people, one of my sales things is, how to own 1,000 apartments in 5 years. Mm-hmm. And listen, I have clients that do it, have done it. They've successfully owned over 1,000 apartments. And I tell people, start with 20. Just start with 20 the first year, just 20. No one starts out buying 1,000 units in one fell swoop. And the only way you're going to get from 20 to 1,000 is if you have the systems and the business in place to do it. And I tell you, here I am. I'm the expert in multifamily acquisition. I just got a $15 million deal under contract, and I have 4 other partners in the deal. Yep. That's the only way I could do it. That's the only way. I know every aspect of the business, but I just can't do it all. Yep.
Yeah.